Hello Comicsgate, it's your bud Rorschach here. So what's going on with John Malin and Frank Cho? Well, first off, before I get into the tweets then, where John Malin issues a challenge to Frank Cho, I just want to contextualise the two personalities involved here. John Malin is a conservative comic book writer who had problems getting work in the industry, and so they decided to do the artwork for Diversity in Comics' Jawbreaker Lost Souls. Frank Cho is a writer, sorry, not a writer, Frank Cho is an artist as well, just like Mr. Malin, who hasn't really worked in the mainstream comic book industry for 2 years. Why hasn't he worked there for 2 years? Because he thought this was a good idea. He thought this was pretty funny. So this attempt at humour obviously backfired. Oops, and led to a blacklisting. And he hasn't worked in the comic book industry since 2016. According to Wikipedia, I can see that he did Skyborn in September the 7th, 2016, but there's nothing since. So I'm guessing that what's happening here is that Frank Cho is trying to get work back on the progressive plantation, which is the mainstream comic book industry. And what better way to do that than to denounce Comicsgate as, this is in Frank's own words, an alt-right hate group. Okay, and John Malin has taken exception to that, and he's put out some tweets, and I'll just go through the tweets now. Actually, before I do the tweets, I just want to say something about the alt-right and Comicsgate. Is Comicsgate an alt-right group? No, it's not. And I know that objectively speaking, factually speaking, because Fox Day tried to take over the name Comicsgate. He set up his own imprint, and Fox Day is a genuine right-winger, by the way. He's an alt-right person. So Fox Day tried to take the Comicsgate thing for himself. He set up his own imprint, his own a label. He actually got a nice little logo all set up. The logo says something like Comicsgate 100% SJW free. So he proudly announced this on a YouTube live stream. And what happened next? Well, the genuine Comicsgate people flooded his live stream, downvoted his video, and let him know in no uncertain terms that Comicsgate has nothing at all to do with the alt-right. Fox Day, he took this message in stride, I guess, as much as he could. It was a bit of a shock to him, I think, and decided to do the only thing that he could do, and he released the Comicsgate label. So Fox Day, an alt-writer, tried to take over Comicsgate and failed because Comicsgate is not an alt-right movement. Comicsgate is a movement that just wants to make comics politics free and ideology free. That's what Comicsgate is all about. It's all encompassing, it's not political, it's not alt-right. So this statement then from Frank Cho that Comicsgate is alt-right is factually speaking incorrect. So back to the tweets and let's see what John Malin's got to say about this. So Frank Cho has tossed the label of alt-right hate group on Comicsgate. Not a single person in the industry outside of Comicsgate stood up and said, no, that's enough. This industry is LARPing a very dangerous game. Before a low IQ fan creator ends up shooting at a convention, I challenge Frank Cho to be responsible for his comments and show proof or fully retract his comments with apology. I'm not holding my breath and waiting for that. I think that Frank Cho just wants a job. He just wants a job for DC or Marvel, and I don't think that he's going to retract this his statements, his comments. I don't think that he wants to chance his arm on the open market, the free market of Indiegogo. I think he just wants an easy life. I'm not a mind reader, of course, but that's the impression I get from Frank Cho, that he probably regrets those images of the past, and he just wants an easy life again. So he's just saying what he thinks needs to be said to allow him back onto the comics book plantation. But in doing that and in demonising a group, he's doing something that's very dangerous, because if you start demonising a whole group of people, that demonisation can translate into real world violence where unstable people take things a little bit too far, as happened recently with Jeremy of the quartering when he got attacked by a guy who thinks that it's perfectly okay to violently attack anybody you label as an alt-right Nazi. It doesn't matter if they're an alt-right Nazi at all. If you label them as that, then it's okay to attack them. This is coming from the mainstream media, and it's starting to seep into the comic book media as well, and it has to stop before it gets out of hand. That's what John Malin is saying here. Okay, so back to the tweet. He labelled an entire segment of fandom and creators something the average person views as white supremacists. We are not. Again, factually speaking, that is 100% factual and true. Our industry has gone insane. The entire mainstream media has gone insane, John. Take responsibility before you get one of us killed, Frank. Our group includes conservatives, moderates and liberals. Absolutely true. We are all racist and sexual preferences. Again, true. All with legitimate criticisms for this industry's behaviour, now including yours. Set the tone for a return to reasonable behaviour. Criticism is not harassment and certainly isn't an alt-right hate group. So I've already dealt with the last point then, that Comicsgate is not an alt-right group. So what about this issue then, that's all criticism is a harassment? That's something that's been claimed, isn't it, by the comic book pros at the moment, because they don't actually want to deal with the criticisms themselves. If you can label all criticism as coming from a hateful group and as it being targeted harassment, then you don't have to engage in a back and forth, a discussion, a conversation about the criticisms that have been levelled towards you, do you? But the broader point on the tweets then coming from John Malin and his challenge issued towards Frank Cho are the real world implications that come from demonising a whole group of people. Comicsgate is not alt-right. Comicsgate is not a hate group. Comicsgate is all-encompassing. It's apolitical. It doesn't want ideology. It just wants good comic books. And in Frank Cho basically trying to pander to the comic book gatekeepers, hoping that it'll get some work again, he's doing something very dangerous indeed. That appears to be John Malin's statement that he's making here, and I tend to agree with him. I tend to agree with him on this one. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this situation? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll end the video here. So thanks for checking out. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd be so kind, and I'll be back as always later. Cheers. See you guys.